Kim Kardashian has once again found herself at the center of a political storm, this time over comments she made about former U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement policies. The reality television star and entrepreneur, who has in recent years become more vocal on matters of criminal justice reform and immigration, criticized Trump-era ICE raids during a recent interview. Her statements have now triggered a sharp response from officials tied to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, reigniting debate over celebrity activism, government accountability, and the intersection of politics and pop culture. The controversy began when Kardashian spoke candidly about her discomfort with the widespread immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, raids carried out during Trump's administration. According to her, the operations, which targeted undocumented immigrants across the United States, were both inhumane and traumatic for families. She emphasized that while border security is an important issue, the tactics employed often place children and communities in vulnerable and devastating positions. Kardashian, who has millions of followers across social media platforms, framed her remarks around personal stories she claimed to have heard directly from immigrant families. It is heartbreaking to hear how children wake up to armed officers storming their homes, taking away their parents, and leaving them terrified. No child should live in that kind of fear in a country that prides itself on freedom and opportunity, she said. Her comments, however, did not sit well with several Homeland Security officials, many of whom still defend the aggressive ICE enforcement strategy under Trump. Almost immediately, a spokesperson for DHS rebuked Kardashian's remarks, suggesting that her statements were misinformed and irresponsible. The spokesperson noted that ICE operations targeted individuals with outstanding deportation orders, criminal convictions, or pending removal cases, not random families. Celebrity figures who speak without full knowledge of enforcement policies risk spreading false narratives that only divide communities further. The DHS official said in a written statement, "These operations were carried out under the law, with oversight, and in the interest of national security and public safety. Mischaracterizing them as cruel or inhumane is not only unfair to the men and women who serve, but also misleading to the American public." The rebuttal marked the beginning of a larger clash between government voices and a celebrity figure whose influence extends far beyond entertainment. Kardashian's transition from reality star to criminal justice reform advocate has been well documented. She has helped lobby for clemency in several high-profile cases, advocated for sentencing reform, and even studied law. Her interventions have been praised in some circles, with supporters calling her an unexpected yet impactful voice in the fight for justice. But critics argue that her platform allows her to oversimplify complex issues without fully considering the broader implications. The tension escalated when other DHS officials, both current and former, weighed in on Kardashian's criticism. Some described her commentary as performative activism, while others questioned whether her celebrity influence was being used responsibly. One former immigration official claimed that Kardashian's words overlooked the victims of crimes committed by undocumented immigrants, asserting that ICE enforcement was necessary to protect American communities. People like Kim Kardashian have enormous platforms, but they don't always grasp the full reality of why these policies exist, the former official said. Of course, it's heartbreaking when children are separated from their families, but it's also heartbreaking when families lose loved ones to crimes committed by individuals who should not have been in the country in the first place. It's about balance, and enforcement is part of that balance. At the same time, Kardashian has received strong support from human rights organizations, advocacy groups, and immigrant rights activists. Many applauded her for bringing renewed attention to an issue that they say continues to be overlooked despite a change in presidential administration. For these groups, Kardashian's willingness to challenge DHS and criticize Trump-era policies represents a rare moment when a mainstream celebrity lends her voice to marginalized communities. Kim Kardashian may not be a policy expert, but she's saying what countless families have experienced firsthand, said one immigrant rights advocate. When ICE shows up at your door with guns and flashlights at 3 in the morning, it doesn't matter what the paperwork says. To a child, that's trauma. To a family, that's devastation. Having someone with her platform call that out is powerful. The debate highlights a larger cultural shift where celebrities increasingly use their platforms to weigh in on political and social issues. Figures like Kardashian, LeBron James, and Taylor Swift have embraced activism, at times drawing criticism from conservative voices who argue that entertainers should stick to entertainment. But the digital age, where Instagram posts and tweets reach millions instantly, has blurred the line between celebrity and political influencer. Political analysts point out that Kardashian's involvement in justice reform has given her more credibility than some other celebrity activists. Her role in lobbying for prison reform bills and helping secure the release of individuals serving lengthy sentences has placed her in direct contact with lawmakers and the legal system. As such, her criticism of Trump's ICE raids is harder for government officials to dismiss outright, even if they challenge her understanding of the nuances involved. Still, the backlash from Homeland Security underscores the challenges celebrities face when they venture into political territory. Critics often argue that public figures, especially those without formal policy experience, risk oversimplifying issues in ways that may generate more heat than light. For government officials, the concern is that celebrity statements, while emotionally resonant, can distort the complexities of law enforcement policies. The controversy also serves as a reminder of the lingering tensions around U.S. immigration enforcement. While President Joe Biden promised a more humane approach to immigration compared to his predecessor, ICE raids and deportations have not disappeared entirely. Advocates argue that systemic change has been slow, and many communities continue to feel vulnerable. Kardashian's comments, therefore, tapped into a debate that remains politically and emotionally charged. Public reaction to the clash has been divided, reflecting broader partisan divides in American society. Kardashian's supporters flooded social media with praise, thanking her for speaking truth to power and for amplifying immigrant voices. Hashtags like #StandWithImmigrants and #KimSpeaksTruth trended briefly as her fans and advocacy groups rallied behind her. On the other hand, critics accused her of virtue signaling, questioning her knowledge of immigration law, and accusing her of demonizing law enforcement. One viral post from a conservative commentator mocked Kardashian's remarks, saying, "When did reality stars become our immigration policy experts? Stick to fashion and selfies." Conversely, a progressive activist wrote,